Hello and welcome to the foot of our stairs. And today, well, this is a little video about a condition known as psoriatic arthritis. A condition that I have and I've been living with for 5 years, something like that. So, what is psoriatic arthritis? People who get psoriasis, so psoriasis is a skin condition which, I don't know if you can see all this red stuff around my eyes and down here, that. And this is psoriasis. Okay, it's an absolute bastard. You learn to sort of live with it after a while. It can be horrible and angry like that 1 minute, and then a couple of days time it might have almost vanished. It's very difficult to judge it. So about 1 in 5 people who have psoriasis end up developing psoriatic arthritis. So there are 4 other people somewhere who haven't fucking got it. And I got it. And once you get it, it's a long-term condition then. It's basically something that you manage and you don't cure. So what is psoriatic arthritis? Well, it is a autoimmune disease, from what I'm led to believe, which causes a lot of pain and swelling in your joints, particularly of the hands and feet, but it can be in other areas. So with me, it started in my feet, and I'll talk about that a little bit in a couple of minutes, but just as an example, let's see if this works. So this hand here is not affected today. It has been in the past, but if I make a fist with that hand, right, this hand, that finger won't close into a fist. That's as far as it'll go. The difference in size, you can see the knuckles are swollen up on this side compared to that side. So basically makes your fucking joints swell up and it hurts like fuck is what happens. So when did I first get it? Well, it was, I'm going to say 5 years ago. I'm crap at timelines, me. If it didn't happen yesterday, then it's some time ago to me. And if it's not happening tomorrow, I can't even think about it. So I'm going to say about 5 years ago, something like that. I actually had been in the past a kickboxer, believe it or not. I was pretty good actually. And one occasion I wasn't so good and I broke my foot in a match and lost the match because of that, and couldn't continue kickboxing either for quite some time, and at the point that I felt I was able to get going again, I couldn't be bothered, you know what I mean. So when I broke my foot, I went to the doctors. I said, look, I broke my foot. They said, well, it's the small toes, you know, you can't really set them or do anything with them. So I'd advise pain management and then just let it heal on its own, which I did. So I just walked it off, basically, and it was fine after a while. So 4 years later, I woke up with this pain in my foot, and I'm like, oh man, that feels like when I broke my foot. I wonder if I've caught it or snapped it again or something in my sleep. So, you know, lived with it for a while, thinking that it was just this old injury that was flaring up. After some time, and I'm talking about 6 weeks, I thought, yeah, I need to get this looked at, because my home remedies of icing the joint and, you know, keeping it strapped to the toe next to it and stuff like that, those things didn't seem to be working. So I went back to the doctors and I said, look, I'm not sure which foot it was that I broke. Must be this one, because that's the one that fucking hurts right now. So she had a look through my records and what have you, and she said, yeah, you did break your foot, yeah, but you actually broke the other foot. So I said, oh, well, what's wrong with this one then? She says, I can see that you have psoriasis and you've been to us before about that. So my guess at this point is psoriatic arthritis. I've never heard of it, mate, never heard of it before. So I went to the hospital, had my x-ray done, and this was on the foot, and you could see, so this would be the toes, you could see the space here was completely solid. It was full. There was no room for the joints to maneuver. So, and you've got to think, in your feet, all your weight is on top of that all the time. So anytime you're walking anywhere, all your weight is on that foot. So it was very, very painful. So that's how it started for me. I literally one day woke up, there it was. There was no lead up to it, no suggestion that it was coming, just boom, there it was one day. And it felt like I'd broken my foot. So the diagnosis it wasn't like one of the life-changing. It was shocking to hear it, but it wasn't like the end of the world or anything. Basically, they said, right, well, we will get a specialist for you. Choose your specialist wisely because you will be seeing them for the rest of your life. I was like, okay, is it that bad? And they said, and they will discuss pain management and things like that with you. And initially, I was prescribed something called naproxen, which is an anti-inflammatory, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, NSAID, which you'll see a lot when you start your early diagnosis of arthritis. An NSAID, NSAID, is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, and that's what they offered me first, and it worked really well. It worked very, very, very well. But when you begin to read the side effects, particularly because the disease is an autoimmune one, these drugs will mess with your immune system. So if you get poorly, for example, so I'm still recovering from it, to be fair. I've had the flu for about a week, and you can't take the pain management medication whilst you're poorly because it screws with your immune system completely. But the naproxen I did take, and I did take it for about a year and a half, something like that. So shortly after that initial diagnosis, I went to see my specialist, who was very, down to earth about it, which I appreciated. I didn't want any flowery sort of blurb. I just wanted to know, what is it, what's going to happen to me. Yeah. So I was without doubt the youngest person in the waiting room in that particular thing. Everybody was easily well past retirement age, let's say. So I was very much the youngest there, and that made me feel a bit weird because I thought, well, and people think arthritis, that's what old people get, don't they? That's what old people get, arthritis, don't they? Went to see the specialist, and he, in a nutshell, said, right, what I can give you is methotrexate, which will be injected into you every month. Here is a leaflet of all the things that are wrong with methotrexate. It is essentially a form of chemotherapy, and it may make you lose your hair. You could have lung problems with it. You could have this, you could have that, you could have the other. Now, the hospital I went to, right, I caught the bus to the hospital because I didn't have a car at the time. So I caught the bus, and it's a good 20-minute walk from the bus stop down into the hospital. And then I walked all the way through the hospital to get to the specialist. So I basically said to him, look, I've walked here, I've walked all the way here, and I can walk all the way back again. I said, I'd rather have a limp than start losing my hair and, having lung problems and having to have blood tests every couple of months or whatever it was they said. I didn't want any of that. I didn't want this to impact on my life so much that it became a thing. You know what I mean? So, a common phrase I use is, I'll just walk it off. And that's essentially what I tried to do after that diagnosis. I thought, I'm not having a specialist, I'm not having methotrexate. I kept on with the naproxen for a bit because it did stop the pain and it took the swelling down. But even that, when I read the side effects on that and I spoke to other people, so for example, there was one woman I spoke to, she had arthritis in her hip and she was wanting to get a hip replacement done. But the hospital wouldn't do it because she was taking naproxen, and that meant that there were complications to the procedure, and so she had to stop taking naproxen for 6 months until they would do the procedure. So anything that affects your body like that, I'm not a fan of. So I didn't take it for long after I'd found that out, and in fact I went cold turkey and stopped, and that's probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, something like that. Because it's not only the drugs and the prescribed remedies. I think the one thing you will find when people find out that you've got this disease, and they're only trying to be kind and all that kind of thing. I think I come across as quite harsh sometimes, but I'm really not. I'm just saying that you will get a lot of people telling you that everything in the world is good for arthritis, that will happen to you. So, I was reading this magazine the other day. Yeah, if you lick the up underneath of a hedgehog, it's good for arthritis. Is that? Yeah. And you'll try some of these things at first. You'll think anything to fucking stop this shit. You will try it. So I've tried supplements and juice diets and what else? Weird herbal remedies and things like that. I've tried all sorts of recommended, things. Now, whether it's a testament to my lack of patience, in that I didn't I didn't persevere with that particular type of treatment, or whether it's just bollocks, I don't know. But you will, out of the goodness of the heart, I'm not being horrible, will get people saying, oh, have you tried this, have you tried that, have you tried that? And after 15th time you'll be like, no, I fucking haven't, actually. Because you kind of sat there thinking, well, I'm the one that this is affecting, so do you not think I've looked into it? But I know they're just being nice, I know. So affected areas, so it's affected it was my right foot first, yeah, in the toes, right, in the ball of the toes here. It then moved to my left foot as well, ball of the toes. That was terrible. That put me on a walking stick, because your balance has gone. For a start, your balance has gone and your distribution of weight has gone totally. So you walk a lot slower, and you can't change direction too fast. So supermarkets were a nightmare. So you're walking along, slow as out. You can't really carry the weight of a trolley, of a basket. So you're with a trolley. You want to change direction, you plant your foot, don't you? And you push off to the side to change direction. You can't put pressure on the foot. So you're kind of shuffling over to one side, and it's a fucking nightmare. So in your feet, it's a nightmare. It also affected the Achilles tendon of my left leg. That was a horrible couple of years because it just wouldn't bend. So there's your leg and your foot. I know it's my hand, shut up. There, Achilles tendon is the thing that stores and releases kinetic energy, isn't it, from your footstep. So when you go like that, it flexes. You go like that, push off, it twang, it acts like a spring, okay? Mine wouldn't bend, so I was walking not only with the swollen joints under the foot, but this here would not bend, so the foot was just lifting up, going down, lifting up, going down. Made it very, very difficult to walk. It made it very painful to drive as well. Very, very painful to drive, but cracked on with it. And that's after I stopped taking the pain medication, is that. Your fingernails. Now, this is more the psoriasis than the arthritis, but at the same time that it started in my feet and what have you, it started affecting my fingernails. Now, you have a look at them. That light might be a bit bright. Can you see that? How they're all sort of pitted and they look fucking horrible, don't they? Look at them. Affects your nails. And that's embarrassing, is that? So at this point, I was in a choir, actually, and I was sat very close to people a lot of the time, and it had only started in these two nails at that point in time. I found myself sitting like that, covering them up, because they look, to be honest, I thought I had like a fungal nail thing for ages. Got one of them pens, the treatment things. I had one of them. I used it for months. I'm like, it don't work. So I went back to the doctors. I said, look, I've got this fungal thing on my nails. I says, can you help me out? He goes, no, it isn't that. He says, and his exact words were, I'm very, very sorry about this. He says, but that's psoriasis on your nails. And I just thought, oh, fucking brilliant. Why not? But at least visually that is there. The swelling in your feet and your legs and you can't see it. So people don't know it's there. And shortly after the nails, it started to affect my fingers, and really this is where it gets bad. So the initial diagnosis, I remember the doctor says to me, oh, you poor man, she said, can you still do your buttons up? And I thought, oh, yeah, it's in my feet, isn't it? Of course I can still do my buttons up. Not very well at the moment. Zips, buttons, fucking shoelaces. No chance. Not a chance with shoelaces. Putting shoes on, taking shoes off, nightmare. So it's in my fingers. You can see this one here. It won't. If I try and straighten my hand out, it will not straighten up at all. You can't grip. So like this pen here, right? I've got a pen, okay. I can't put the pressure. Normally the pen rests like that, okay. So you've got pressure against this hand there, and that part of the hand does all the writing. I can't fucking do it anymore. Can't do it anymore. So I'm writing more like this now. So I'm writing like that because this won't do it. But the weird thing is, 3 months ago, this finger was exactly the same. But look at it now. It's like there's nothing wrong with it. And this is what it does. You go, oh, my leg, ow, my leg, ow, my leg, for 4 days. That's 3 days. Ow, my leg. And then at day 5, you're like, oh, my leg's all right, actually. But, oh, my fucking finger. And it moves about. It moves around. It affects different areas. Sometimes in parallel, sometimes in opposition. Weird. There's no logic to it. But once it gets into your fingers, that's bad. And then more recently, it's been in my knees. And that has affected quite a few things. So, standing up out of a chair, getting out of bed, getting out of bath, when it's in your knee and your hand and your feet, you can't grab out to lift yourself up. You can't roll onto your knees to lift yourself up. And you can't really stand on one foot particularly well to lift your other foot over the side of the bath to get out. So that's well dodgy. And in fact, I went through a good few months, maybe 6 months. Don't tell anybody, but I had to have a little chair in shower. I used to have to sit down in shower because you can't stand up for long periods of time. You can't lay down. You can't get out of bath. So I had to have a little chair and sit in the shower like a little old man. And one of the worst things about it, so the pain is unbelievable but manageable if you're tough like me, because I'm not taking any medication, so I'm trying to just deal with it, right? But it fucking hurts. There's no two ways around it. But the unseen thing is the fatigue that you get, the tiredness. So imagine this, right? Imagine you broke all your fingers, okay? That hurts, doesn't it? Straight away. Imagine that they were never healed again, right? Now go around your daily life, you know, drive your car, use your key on your front door with your broken fingers, do your buttons up with your broken fingers. Every little thing hurts to do. That wears you out. That tires you right out. Not to mention the fact that not only are you're tired from it just fucking hurting all day long, but you've got white blood cells which become inflamed due to the nature of the disease. It's inflammatory, so that your white blood cells will inflame, and that means that your blood becomes thicker. Oxygen's not getting to your muscles as quickly, it's not getting to your brain as effectively, and you'll have days where you just cannot concentrate. You cannot focus on things that people are saying to you, and you just want to sleep. And I've had to let myself know that it's all right to have a kip. Come home if I want to sleep for an hour or two, I might do, you know. And it's part of managing it is if you're tired, go to sleep, have a sleep. But it affects your concentration as well, and your ability to deal with, you know, everyday situations, like ordering your shopping online. So you don't want to walk around Tesco's anymore because your feet hurt and your arms hurt and your legs hurt and you're tired. So I'll do a shop at home. Let's do an online shop. I can't think of what food is. I can't think what I want. I can't remember what I had this week. It becomes a stressful job then. Little things like that and then that makes you more tired and you just want to go to sleep and forget the whole thing. And of course, possibly the worst thing is that people say, arthritis? Well, you're only young. What's all that about? And you think, well, fair enough, yeah. You know, when you're young and you think arthritis happens to old people, doesn't it? It's an old people thing, but it's obviously not. I mean, I'm currently 44 days away from being 40 years old, but so I'm not old at all. Before you fucking say I am, and I've had this for a good 5-6 years, something like that. So it isn't just a thing that affects old people. And what is old anyway? You know what I mean? So I may add to this as a sort of video diary as new things become apparent. So the latest thing is this in my finger. It's really bad at the minute. So I may add to this later on. But if you've just been diagnosed and you're wanting to know what the hell it's all about, okay, I would offer the following advice based on my experience, not as any kind of medical expert, yeah, on my own experience, how you deal with it. Number one, use it or lose it, right? It's in your feet, it's in your knees, walk. Keep walking. You've got to be careful with it, because the heavier you become, the more pressure there is on that, the more it hurts, the less you can do. Now, I put 2 stone on after I got diagnosed with it in my feet because I couldn't get around as much. Plus, I love pizza, but, you know, I couldn't get around as well. So I made sure I've got a treadmill, and I make sure I go on that at least whenever I feel able. I go for a walk whenever I can. During my working lunch break, you know, I always try and at least get some activity in during the day. So number one, use it or lose it. Sometimes you can't, right? So number two, on the times where it's really, really bad, if you want to take pain management, take it. If you don't, which is what I'm doing, rest. If you can't do the thing that you're trying to do because of the inflammation, just fucking stop trying and wait until you can, because psychologically that's far better than having this thing defeat you when you're trying to do things. And a lot of it is mind over matter, yeah. A lot of it literally is the difference between going, oh my god, I've got a life-changing illness and my life will never be the same again, and you know what, I've got arthritis, but fuck it, it'll do as it's told. There's a lot of that. So advice number two is, if you feel like you can't, don't. But next time you can, do it. Number three, dietary advice. Frankly, I've tried a number of things, nothing works. The only definite correlation I've seen, and this is a shame because I love the stuff, is that if I have a lot of Marmite, I'm not even joking, if I have a lot of Marmite, that makes the swelling worse, because it contains uric acid, which causes a build-up of crystals in your joints. If you have a lot of it over time, I don't think your body's particularly good at getting rid of it. Other than that, I think dietary, anti-inflammatory diets and things like that, I have tried them. It may be that my lack of persistence that has given me zero results. However, I suspect that the disease is what it is, and they may alleviate the symptoms with the diets, but you can't cure it. So don't expect miracles from anything, is what I'm saying. So if you've been recently diagnosed, or if you in fact have been diagnosed some time ago, just let me know in the comments below, because it'd be nice to have a chat with each other, share a bit of experience and what have you. This video is my experience, my personal experience. You may have experiences that differ, but above all, thank you very much for watching. Good luck with your diagnosis, and use it or lose it, don't forget. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.